That night, Johnny stood outside by the edge of the lake behind his house. The night was clear and a lovely shade of blue. One could clearly see the stars above. He suddenly felt a presence, and a soft hand touched his shoulder. He looked up to see Marissa gazing down at him. She seemed very sad. "Johnny," she said as she put a warm arm around him, "Candy is no longer with us." Johnny's eyes flooded with tears. Why did she have to die?" he cried as he grabbed her around the waist, burying his face into her stomach. She looked up at the stars and then back down at him. She touched his chin and gently raised his face to look at her. "John, look there by the moon," she said, pointing up. "Do you see that bright star? That's Candy." Johnny looked up and saw the star through his burning tears. "It is?" She nodded. "Yes, she's at peace now, my darling." He stared at the star and his tears seemed to increase. Marissa trembled when he looked mournfully at her. "Will I ever see her again after I die?" he asked in a small voice. She looked at him tenderly. "If you close your eyes, you will always feel her in your heart, Johnny." He smiled as she touched his chest with her hand. The warmth from it was very comforting, and he felt peace. He looked at her and started to cry again. "Please, don't ever leave me." "Oh, Johnny, never. I will always be with you." With that, she held him close, and they knelt together on the soft grass and looked up at the stars. A few minutes later, his mother called for him to come back to the house. He looked up at Marissa, and she smiled down at him. "Go to your mother, John." He looked at her intensely for a moment, and then lowered his head. "I love you," he said quietly. Her mouth dropped open, and emotions flooded through her as she watched him walk away.